Hello everybody. My name is Ose and this is Farming Simulator 19. We are on Estancia, Lapacho. I've done a little bit of redecoration. We now have a couple of lights around the farm. And I put another one down here. I think we already had the fuel tank. I have tried to smooth this area out as best I can. That's not going too well. And is that weeds? No, that's dead weeds. Okay, cool. And the sun is rising. So yay. We've got some eggs. We've got some stuff. Okay then. Let's see what we need to be doing. There's the train, there's the thing, there's the tractor, there's the other. Okay, so I guess we don't have anything planned for today, so let's see what needs doing. Bum, bum, ba-dum, bum. Hey, hey! So, stuff is, we have soybeans growing. Yeah, they're a ways off. Ooh, we have weeds in that corner. How did that get missed? And everything needs to be sprayed here. I wonder if we're ready to do that. Tractor, hello. And there's nothing in the back, so let's go fill this up with fertilizer and get to it. Thank you for the bits, Hale. Okay, where's my fertilizer gone? That would be that one there. Oh, that's not a lot. Okay. I guess I'm going shopping. Oh. Ouch. Bit of a bump there. So we've got $38,000 at the moment, so that's not enough to do anything with. I should probably turn the lights on since it's still dark here. So I found out why the train stops. Apparently if you get in it, it stops because it assumes you want to take control and get stuff from places, or you want it parked up somewhere so you can load it with bales or whatever. And so obviously when you're tabbing through stuff, you'll tab into the train. I could probably turn that off. And then the train will just go forever. But anyway. So, how's everyone doing this evening? I like how they put the balls on the wires. Oops. We want to go this way. Which is prototypical either where there is an airfield or where there's farmland, and they tend to do crop spraying from air. If you look up at the power lines and there's balls on it, sort of space like those, then Probably means there's some sort of flying going on in the area. And here we are at the store, because everybody needs to come to the store at least once a game session. What do I need? That one. And we'll grab a fertilizer tank. Just the one, because that's all I have the room for. I have added a fair number of mods since over the last few weeks. Giants seem to be releasing up to 6 a day. Sometimes, you know, not always, but at least 4 days a week I think so far. They've been averaging sort of 2 to 6 mods. I've not bothered with some of them. They released oh, what's the problem there? That's weird. It's almost like that's not hanging right. I don't know. I did load the really small plows, which I found were very useful for field edits. I mean, we're talking 1.5 metre. Not good for making, you know, for ploughing together large fields, but if you want to edit the edges, 1.5 metre plough is a lot easier than one of the bigger ploughs. And as previously noted, you can't use the culti ploughs, the subsoilers, for field creation. Yeah, we're coming up to the field now. Oh, that's the train lights. That's not the edge of the field. Thought it was. There we go. So, unfold. Going to need to zoom out so I can see the edge of the boom. Too far over. Lots of people playing World of Warships on Steam tonight. Okay. So I want to turn this on, drive down here a little. Oh yes, that's working. Okay. fertilization is one of the few things you can tell by the ground is darker where the fertilizer has been spread. Although when the crops get fully grown, you can't see the ground. So at that point it gets kind of tricky. And it's generally easier to put it on a worker at that point. Oh no, that's something I wanted to test was worker wages. I'm not sure I'll test it on this farm. This field isn't flat. So once again we line up at the edge with a tiny bit of overlap. Kind of a lot of overlap, but that's the way it works. No, I can't tell. Guess you can tell. Kind of need to see where the fertilizer is and where I'm laying it. And with the lights on, you can't see very easily. I am probably going to get rid of this tractor sometime fairly soon. Nice enough, but we're going to need to start working towards larger equipment, I think, before too much longer. Although, as I've said before, larger equipment doesn't make you more money. It just makes the jobs less laborious. But then again, with if you're doing things like spraying and spreading, there's really not much I can do to make it go faster, even with a bigger tractor. Now with seeders, that makes a difference because you can get significantly larger seeders. We're currently running on 4-meter equipment. And with about 300 horsepower you can start running 12-meter equipment, which gets the job done 3 times faster. Like I said, 3 times faster isn't 3 times more money, it's exactly the same amount of money, so the farm has to be profitable to be able to do that. That's why I can get away with it on my FS17 farm, Lawfolds, is because the farm does make so much money that having 2 large tractors, and I am seriously considering getting a 3rd one, the cost of running them isn't that significant when compared with the income that the farm generates. But the income the farm generates is in the hundreds of thousands of pounds, whereas this farm, a field creates maybe 50. Might be able to just about. Oh, that is too much overlap. I can't get the entire field in one pass. So that a little bit along the edge. So I might just not bother, because that's a lot of fertilizer to use for a little gain. And like I was saying, you know, we're not making very much money at the moment. So while this improves the yield by 25%, not improving the yield of a narrow sliver on the side of the field is not going to be as great as spending, you know, $5,000 fertilizing the field, or, you know, the waste of, you know, you've only got about 2 or 3 meters on the side of the field that you're not fertilizing, and you're going to use a 24-meter boom. That's a lot of money to spend on that. Now OCD says, oh, I need to do it, I need to get it all, but frankly I don't need to get it all, and that's good enough. Let's check the field status now. Turn off needs lime, and so there's tiny little bits which is only going to give us a 25% boost on yield, but in the long run that's sufficient. I now need to do this field. For some reason I've got weeds there. I don't know how that happened. But once again, do I need to spread herbicide on the entire field? Oh yeah, on the full width of this boom, just to kill off the weeds in that tiny little corner. And the weeds are going to cost me 15% yield. Still run wide of that because it's very rough here. Okay, let's unwrap that. So, what did we use there? About 40% of the fertilizer on that other field. Okay, that didn't turn on. Let's go back and try that again. There we go. And is that working? Once again, yes, that's working. So, all the lights on. Now, someone has released a mod version of the Fendt 1000, and apparently it does have lights on the side, so you can illuminate where currently there is no illumination on this tractor. The Fendt 1000 has illumination to the sides of the tractor, so you can see what's happening alongside as well as in front and back. Turn it around. Come on, seriously. Back up. Let's go. Yay. So the darker bits on the field are where we killed the weeds last week. So we used herbicide on them rather than a weeder. I think the weeder pulls them up. And it's freer to use. Although the weeder doesn't have as good a working width, so it takes longer to do the job. Yeah. And this time, yeah, that bit on the left there is probably about half the width of the spray. So it's probably worth my while doing the entire field, even though there's going to be a lot of wastage. The other thing to look at would be to measure the how much more field I could fit in, chop down the trees and expand the field a bit. Kind of need to do that between crops rather than while it's growing. Let's see, if I come to here, which is the working width, I could chop down that tree and go right over to this point and make the field wider. And then I'm not wasting as much fertilizer. But not going to happen. But we will fertilize this bit. It's getting hard to tell. It's probably about half the boom width. So definitely worthwhile. Or at, it may not be completely worthwhile, but it's definitely going to improve the yield such that it covers the cost and gives us some extra profit. Oh. And I've been drifting over, so I didn't get the edge. Okay, so that's the fertilization done. Let's turn the weeds off. Okay, that's good. Now, I was going to check the money. We've still got 100,000 loan out. It looks like Field 9 has nothing in it. Oh, no, it does. Has wheat. Oh. Okay. It has wheat, it hasn't been fertilized. And that land is 354. I would have to borrow 300,000 in order to be able to buy that. So, not happening. That land's even more. It's 251. It's 126. See, those fields over there, that one's expensive, are affordable. They're a bit out of our way. What's that land there? 466. It has a fair amount of trees on it, and then you could plough a field out of that. This one, 251. It's kind of expensive, and the field area is about the same as that. That piece of land is half the price because there's all that around the outside that is effectively waste ground at the moment. However, this field could be useful because I could chop down the trees here and put more farm buildings along that road there. So, but those two are probably the next two I want to consider. Buy those and then produce more crop. We can turn the rear lights off now. Chickens are all sleeping. Now, what I'll do is I'll fill up the spray. What jobs are there? Sowing. What do you want to sow? Barley. Field 15. That's big. Could borrow their equipment. What did it say on their equipment? 1,400. 10,000 to sow that field. 21,000 to fertilize. That's a possibility. Oh, I was going to unload that. There we go. Okay. I can't see. That's awesome. Oh. Good job I decided I needed to look. There's not a lot of space there. So reverse that into there. I'm going to drop that off. And I think what I'll do is I'll hitch up to the spreader. Put some narrow tyres on it. We can do that at the store. We're going to have to fill it up anyway. So yeah, we don't have any solid fertilizer on the farm. So I'm going to fill this up with solid fertilizer. And then we'll take that mission to... or that contract to fertilize, was it field 15? No, field 20 something, 29. That will give me a load of money. I think the solid fertilizer is about 1,200 per 1,000 litres. We can fit quite a lot in this trailer, spreader. I want to earn a load of money. We could probably earn some money harvesting 5 as well. Now, I did like what Kyle did on his and Arthur's map, which was to run a road straight ahead here down to where the cars are. That would be very handy. So What field did we contract on? Not 29. Yeah, 29. Oh, okay. We contracted on, I think, the biggest field on the map. So that's awesome. Solid fertilizer, 1900. That's expensive. That's cheaper. But I think you have to pick that up in order to I don't think I have the ability to lift that up high enough to get it in the spreader, and I don't think you can use the load button to make it work either. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. Okay. It's getting brighter. I think I can fit 2 more in there. Of course, that's used up nearly all my money. Isn't such a good thing. But we're good to go there. Okay, back to field 29. I think I'll probably start from the straight edge. Could run along the bottom. That's the other option. That's the farm. Yeah, why not? Okay. This is something I noticed on Lawfolds on Saturday was solid fertilizer spreads a lot quicker than liquid fertilizer, so this job probably won't take us as long, in spite of the fact it doesn't have the same working width, because you can do it at 12 miles an hour rather than 6 or 7. Probably won't use up all the stuff we bought, although that was, what, $13,000? Almost, but not quite. The correct width. Now, someone pointed out this particular job costs us money to invest in it. We have to buy the fertilizer in order to do the job. But it doesn't take very long to do the job. With something like a harvesting or a baling contract, you get paid, plus you get a bonus for the excess yield. But the job takes longer. So yeah, I missed a little bit along the edge there. So you can get 3 or 4 of these jobs done in the time it takes you to do one harvesting contract. Thus you get paid more. Or you get paid more for less time, over a less time period. There's way too much overlap there. Although we've only used 700, not even. At the end of this pass, I'll check contract to see how far we got. I may actually end up looking at using solid spreaders rather than liquid spreaders in future on my farms. Okay, so we're almost 30% done already. Although solid fertilizer is more expensive, I think it goes further. obviously I can't test that theory out at the moment because our fields are now fully fertilised, so I don't need to do it again. But I think we used about 1,300 litres of liquid fertiliser on our 2 fields. And that's $2,400 to buy a IBC of liquid fertiliser, something like that. So the train track's running along here. Yes. Okay. So I'm going to have to pull to the right again. And then we'll turn around. Oops. Let's get that online. There we go. Okay, we just used up 1 bag. Normally on a tractor this size I wouldn't be using this size. I really don't use this size of spreader on any of my farms. Even on low faults I just have a little rear mounted spreader. Because I find it's difficult to turn it around at the end of the field. Obviously here there's ample room. But most of the games I play, the fields are surrounded by hedges or fences or walls, so you don't have that luxury, and you have to then reverse the spreader to get it up to the edge of the field again. That can be awkward. I'm not really that good at reversing trailers. I can do it, but it kind of involves a lot of thought on my part as to, okay, I want the trailer to go that way, so I need the back of the tractor to go that way, and I need to turn the wheel whatever way, and after my parking feat in last week's truck sim on Thursday, you wouldn't think I was that bad. Done that. So field that's 4. One of the fields we're thinking about. Still got a fair bit to do on this field. But I'm glad I chose to fertilise it and not harvest it, because this looks like potatoes. Potatoes, it's gonna be horrible. Probably turn the lights off. How are we doing? Okay, 7,000 used, or 2,000 used. I haven't missed too much that I have to go back and fill some in. That'll be annoying. Still too much overlap there. Oh, we're nearly done. That's good. May only have to do some of this bit. There we go. All done. So there are a lot of fields that want to be fertilized. What's the best one? 7. $27. Thought I saw 8 there, so 8. 5,000. 27 is probably close by since we're on 29. 27's over there. We can go and do that one. That's wheat. Yeah, that's potatoes. What other jobs need doing? But pay out well. 6 needs doing, that's 8,000. Okay. Let's do that one. Where's field 6? Oh, right behind us. I kind of would like to use up as much of this fertilizer as I can, since I bought it already. Oops. and I don't need it until I've harvested and sown the fields again. Having almost 7,000 litres of solid fertiliser on the farm and not using it's a bit of a waste. Oops. Go to sleep. Now, technically this field I should be using narrow tyres on the spreader. But crop destruction doesn't work on fields you don't own, and also doesn't work if it's a worker doing the work for you. However, it's always a good idea to have care wheels on your tractors and trailers. Even if you put a worker on your own field, because if the worker runs out of fertilizer, you're going to have to retrieve the tractor and the trailer, and dragging that off of a field is going to destroy your crops. Maybe I'll just fertilise every field on the map that needs it. We've already bought the fertiliser, so 5,000, 2,000, 10,000, doesn't really matter, it's now all income. That first field covered the entire cost of the fertiliser itself, and probably made us about 6,000-7,000 straight profit. Tree. So what's that? That's Tier 1000, that's Twitch Prime, okay. Oops, drifted that one a bit too far over. And done that one. One more pass, we probably don't need to do all of this. And we'll be done again. Come on. There it is. And that's 8,000. Field 20 needs fertilizing.